Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video where we learn about the minor arcana. This time we're talking about the fives, which is in relation to the Hierophant. So here we have the Hierophant. Next is the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Swords, the Five of Wands, and finally the Five of Cups. So as we were discussing, and basically to recap the previous readings that we were doing, or excuse me, the previous numbers that we were discussing, we were talking about how, there are three different stages to manifestation, and that's what correlates with the Magician, the High Priestess, and the Empress. It's the idea of thought, word, and deed, where you need to have inspiration of the thing that you were looking to manifest, as seen with the Magician, and then you need to be able to speak that inspiration, that thought, and that's through the energy of the High Priestess. And finally, the ability to physically manifest or do the actions necessary in order to create that thing in which you're manifesting through the energy of the Empress. So we've expanded on that idea with the Emperor. Like, say that, just as an example, you're looking to manifest a relationship in your life and you've done those 3 steps. Now you have that relationship. The Emperor would represent the next level of expansion within that relationship. So say you've met your person and now you're dating, and the Emperor's energy represents getting into a space of comfort, stability, foundation, protection, that kind of energy. And so now we're moving on to the next phase where we're talking about the Hierophant energy. And this is an energy that is very traditional. It is confirmation of beliefs. It is community, but in the most formal sense of the word. So if this were in reference to a relationship, for example, it could be talking about sealing the deal, getting married, tying the knot. And there's so many other ways that you can look at the Hierophant. I mean, a lot of people could think of, especially if it were in the reverse, people could say that this was like fighting against authority, that kind of an idea. So that's just a little idea of what the Hierophant's energy is like. Now let's take a look at this energy in relationship to the other suits. So starting with the Five of Pentacles, we always start by looking at, analyzing what we're seeing in the picture, right? So in this picture, we're seeing what looks like 2 homeless people. One may be disabled, like he might not be able to walk properly. And this other woman looks like she's wearing maybe raggedy clothes. They both do. He doesn't look like he's shaved anytime recently. And there's a stained glass window. They seem to be outside of the stone, almost as if they've been turned away from the church. And that's exactly what this energy is representing. Pentacles are a representation of physical means, money, trading, trade work, or physical work, manual labor. And so the overall energy of this card is basically shutting away from community, or people turning their backs on you and feeling like you're having to start completely over again in your journey. But that's not true, because you already have foundation. You already have people by your side there to help you through this expansion, is what it really is. And so you can interpret this in a lot of different ways. Some people would interpret this card to mean that this is moving away, being shunned away from the church, maybe because you questioned its teachings, you questioned its rules and its restrictions, and therefore you're no longer welcome in this community because you're not following the rules per se. That could be one interpretation. Another interpretation could be that maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe it feels like you're having doors shut on you just because there's another door open for you at another place in time. So like I've been saying in a bunch of other videos, is that the energy of this card really depends on the context of the reading, but you can easily piece together based off of the fact that you see the pentacles and the number 5, the numerology of the number 5, as well as, you know, the picture being depicted on what message is trying to be conveyed. So, moving on to the 5 of Swords, we see in this card, it looks like a man was fighting against these other 2 men. They seem to be younger, maybe early 20s. And you can see that the clouds are really sharp and jagged, as if they're like providing the idea that there was some kind of a battle that just occurred and this man won. But both of them, you know, clearly aren't happy with the results. And this guy seems to be a little too happy with himself. Like, it seems like a concept of poor sportsmanship. And that's exactly what this energy is representing. Is, sure, you may have won the battle, but you haven't necessarily won the war. And in all cases, the energy shouldn't be put into winning the battle in the first place. It's unnecessary negativity. It's unnecessary squabbling. And, you know, it's interesting because it's somewhat similar to the 5 of Wands, except we still have individuals fighting with each other. So when you compare the two, it's kind of like the 5 of Wands energy is just unnecessary teenage kind of angst energy, angst drama. And it's just like stupid arguments, stupid positions where people are choosing to allow themselves to be hurt and then to allow themselves to lash out when it's really unnecessary. And the 5 of Swords is kind of like that poor sportsmanship attitude of I beat you and therefore I'm better than you, and that's just not true at all. So both of these cards are kind of like you need to check yourself cards. Like, this is a dose of reality card. When this pops up for someone's reading, it could be a friendly reminder to say, hey, do you really want to be putting your energy towards this drama right now? Unnecessary drama. So those are the 5 of Swords and the 5 of Wands. Here is the 5 of Cups. And, you know, it's really similar actually in comparison to the 4 of Cups, where we had a man looking down at 3 cups, but he wasn't noticing the 4th cup trying to be handed to him out of the corner of his eye. But this time, the man looks down at these 3 cups almost with a sense of shame. His head is low, and he has 2 cups behind him standing upright, whereas these 3 cups are laying down on the ground. Again, he looks like he's secluded himself, as we can see from the 5 of Pentacles and also the 5 of Swords. You know, this man has secluded himself by acting like he's better than others. They've been secluded because maybe they don't fit the mold. Maybe they questioned the rules. He seems to be someone who has isolated himself because he's been putting too much energy onto passions or maybe addictions, or maybe a toxic relationship that wasn't good for him. Let's remember that the cups represent water energy, so emotions, passions, psychic abilities, divination, relationships. Did I already say that? I forget. You know, and concepts of falling in love and having a strong sense of passion for another person or even another project. And so, like, it's almost as if he's choosing to focus on the negative more than the positive because his back is so completely turned away, as if he's ashamed of the choices that he's made. Yeah, so that kind of sums it up for the 5 of Cups. So that'll do it for the cards representing the 5th card within the Major Arcana, and then the cards of all suits. I hope you liked this video. If you do, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're enjoying learning about how to read tarot, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be finishing these off, and then after I do these videos, I'll likely start doing daily tarot readings as well as some other pick a card readings. So thank you for your support, and have a good day.